Welcome, everybody, to another edition of P-Doc Podcast with your host, Tony Hang. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Today is October 5th. We're very excited to get this interview on a roll. It's been a long time since P-Doc has done any broadcasts. A lot of things have occurred with us and our moving locations and setting up studios and trying to get everything back on whack. But hey, we are back and ready to rock and roll. We have set up a little schedule. You can definitely take a look at our Facebook website on who we have lined up for interviews in the near future here. But today, we got another special one. We have Carter Mayotte from the Omaha Grainbelt Club. He will be on here shortly with us to discuss about what's going to happen in the artillery, talk about the auction, talk about the auction birds, and how things are going to function, especially with COVID. So if you're interested in coming out this weekend, this is something you might want to listen to. And if you have an event that's planning in the future, maybe it's something that we can learn together with. So without further ado, let's get Carter Mayotte on the line.
This is Carter.
Hey, Carter, how are you?
Good, Tony. What's up?
Well, that's great to hear, man. I'm very excited. We're less than a week away from the final 350 Grainbelt race, and I'm excited to update the listeners today. We're a few days away, and for those that are listening for the first time, Carter, can you just tell us a little bit about Omaha Racing Club and the history behind the Omaha Grainbelt race? Can you tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah. The club, as I know it, started somewhere after World War II. We currently have about 20 young bird flyers. The Grainbelt race, this is our 52nd year of doing this. When you throw in a couple of AUs, or one AU and a Midwest, or two Midwest, then we've actually been doing something like this for 55 years. And fortunately or unfortunately, I've been around for about 50 of them. So it's kind of ongoing labor of love.
That's cool, man. Now, the Grainbelt race, can you talk to me about that a little bit? It's a 350-mile race, right? And
Yep.
What direction are you guys flying? And for the ones that are interested in participating, say, next year, what can you tell them as into what to expect? Is it normally a tough race? What kind of challenges are on this course? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So next year, of course, the name's going to change to the Midwest Convention because we're hosting it, but the race station will be the same. It's 350 miles from the west, Sidney, Nebraska. And just like any other race station, obviously wind dependent. You go over all the years, I would say it's probably around a 1,200-yard race, 12 to 1,300 yards, somewhere in there. This year, it's going to be hot. It's going to be a southeast wind, which is a side headwind, so it may even be more challenging this year. At least that's the way it looks, on Monday, 5 days out. So typically it's not typically an easy course, but we have had some crazy blowhomes in the last couple of years. So I don't anticipate that this year. And next year, it's going to be moved back another 2 weeks, so toward the end of October. So, it's average-wise 1,300 yards a minute, but obviously dependent on wind conditions that day, of course.
This is actually excellent news for those that are listening today. This is kind of like our preview that the Omaha Grainbelt is based. Now, next year, will you guys still do the Grainbelt and the Midwest, or is it just going to be canceled? You're just going to do one?
We'll just do the one. So
just do the
one. One big event a year. We're good. We're good for that.
And you guys have done the Midwest convention. This will be a second time. Is that correct, or more?
This will be our third time.
We did
99, 2013, I believe, and then of course next year might have been 2014. I can't recall, but.
That sounds great. So for those out there, guys, that are listening that are interested in doing the Omaha Grainbelt, next year might not happen because they have the Midwest Convention. You can definitely participate in that. That's usually a really grand old race. It's like a mini AU convention. And then the year following, they'll probably kick off and do another Omaha Grainbelt race. Now, for those that have never been here before, they always have this very awesome display of fellowship and an auction that occurs during this auction. This year, because of COVID and whatnot, can you kind of give me a rundown on how things are going to work this year? Is it going to still be a public event for those that want to come in and enjoy this event, see their birds, handle their birds, and whatnot? Can you explain about how things are going to work this year?
Yeah, sure. And like you said, normally we would do it at the casino or at the hotel. This year we still have a hotel that we had set aside. But however, because Mark couldn't make it in due to the COVID restrictions, the rooms we're not doing anything at the hotel other than people can stay there, of course, and it's a nice hotel, nice facilities, and then we're going to do everything out of the clubhouse. And so for us, essentially, it's just a regular race. I mean, we're going to ship it Friday night, 7:00. If people are in town, they can come over. We have 2 large rooms where people can stay. Of course, it's going to be, blessed. We're blessed that it's going to be nice, warm weather again, so we can be outside. And we ask anybody that if you're not feeling well, if you don't feel good, please don't come. And face masks are not required, but if you'd like to wear them, you can. And we have hand sanitizers, and the auction will be Saturday morning. And we just set up the auction yesterday. The birds are basically socially distanced, and if anybody's nervous or doesn't want to go inside one of the 2 large rooms that the birds are in, I or one of the club members will go get the bird for them, and they can look at it that way if they just tell me which lot number they would like. And, we can do it that way.
So you said that the auction is going to be live. So if we're not available to go there live and bid, does that mean that when the bid ends there, it's going to end? Can you explain about that process?
Okay, so it's going to be live with iPigeon. And so the auction, because the weather is going to be so nice, we'll have it set up to where the auctioneer is inside a garage, but he'll be facing outside to the outside where people will be outside, and we'll have tables and chairs socially distanced. And anyway, yeah, so the birds are on iPigeon. If the winning bid is in the clubhouse or at the club, in other words, if the winning bid is $1,000, you outbid the iPigeon, then that bird is sold and the sale is final. If iPigeon still has the winning bid, the birds will be on iPigeon for 1 more week, and then the Sunday night, October, I can't remember what day it is, 18th maybe, something like that. That's when the auction will end. And so if you're at the club live in person, you have the winning bid, you take the bird and go home. It's yours, and it'll be taken down off of iPigeon. If there's an iPigeon bid that's higher than anything at the club, then it will stay on iPigeon for 1 more week.
That's a very interesting concept. I think it's kind of cool because it's a hybrid model. Speaking that everything that we're doing now with COVID, everything has been hybrid mode, and this gives an opportunity for those that are willing to go out there to bid on the bird live, a chance to purchase the bird if you win it. And if you're at home watching, and if you can't be there, you can still bid online and still be the leading guy to win it. So it's kind of an interesting concept. We will be down there videoing these birds live. We're going to try to get this auction on live. Just keep in mind that there is going to be an internet lag. So if you guys are watching, please stay tuned to our production that's going to produce this whole thing live at the location. Some of the other information about this race is also listed on OmahaGrainbelt.com. You can go on that website. Speaking of that, next year, Carter, are you guys going to change the domain probably to the Midwest Convention? Probably. This is probably a little bit further out, but are you guys going to keep that OmahaGrainbelt.com or?
Yeah, I think we will probably just keep it, and we'll have it on the Midwest. So we haven't talked to Don Rydell yet, who does most of those things for us, but just because we've had the Grainbelt, the only thing that's going to change is the name. Everything else is the same. But so you can get on Grainbelt.com and find the Midwest Convention information early next year, or go to the Midwest Homing Pigeon Association website, and it'll also be there. It'll be the exact same information. So
that's great to know. And for those that are out there that are participating in this race, if you do not know, you can also go into the Omaha Grainbelt website and see club race results of your birds. They have handler list in there where you can trace to see where your birds are at, contact information with the handlers that if you had any rotation birds and whatnot. And you could also trace all the races that occur throughout the whole young bird season, and which is very, very interesting to see because you can see the progress of your bird. Now, let's get into the meat of this auction. Let's talk about the auction. How does the committee go about selecting these fanciers, and who is the honored guest this year? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, the committee is anybody in our club who has a suggestion, but typically it's Dwayne and I, and Dwayne Kugler and myself, and we take the names under advisement, and we have certain criterion that we think people need to meet, to be invited. And this year's guest is Mark Evans. He happens to be from Europe, but from Great Britain. But we've had Johnny the Greek and Jonah Melka, and we've had North American fanciers too. So yeah, we don't just stick with the Europeans, but this year was Mark Evans, and kind of Mark, he reminds me. I mean, he's just kind of one of those fanciers that just has it. I mean, when I was in Florida, there was a fancier from Canada. His name was Harry Shippold. He was the champion of Canada, and he just told me one day, he says, "Carter, everything's in the hand." And I'm like, well, it took me a while to figure it out, but after a while, I figured it out. It's either you have it or you don't, and Mark has it, and he has it a lot, and he passes it on. I mean, he's proud of his own results, but he's even more proud of the results he has, not only in Great Britain, but in South Africa, the United States, and the Netherlands. I mean, one of the grandchildren of the cruise missile that he sold to a gentleman in the Netherlands that turned around and sold it to China for $45,000, 45,000 euro. And there are two direct children in our auction from the cruise missile. So, it's a great opportunity. He's a great fancier. He has very extreme selection. And so he, again, going back to my Florida roots, he's told me you only get them off the top or you don't get them. And these birds, these 55 pigeons, were right off the top of Mark's birds. These were his race team this year that he was going to race, but because of the COVID restrictions, unable to do so. So he sent them to us. And like I said, there's 2 directs from the cruise missile, 4 directs from the Bob de Bat. I mean, those are his key pigeons, and just countless other ones. So Mark is he does all the selection for you, and for a guy like me who I don't have it, he does it for me. So hopefully I can get lucky with one of them.
Now the birds are they kept with you at the moment, or how many are there total?
There's 55, and they're in 2 different locations. The cocks are at one location and the hens are at another.
That's exciting. I can't wait to come over there and handle these pigeons. We're very, very sad. Mark Evans, I've met him in Vegas before, and he is such an awesome personality to hang out with. To have him not here, I mean, I've spoke to him several times before this podcast today, and I know he was very looking forward to coming to the United States, but unfortunately with COVID, he won't be. But we're going to try to do that morning before 10 o'clock, the live auction. We're going to try to get him on the phone and do a webinar. So please try to pay attention. We're going to try to broadcast everything. Everything is dependent on internet quality and what we can do to broadcast with what we have. But we're going to try to get Mark on the line. Mark is scheduled to have a podcast early this week, and you're going to hear from him one more time before the live auction occurs. But anything else that you would like to chime in, Carter, before we end this podcast today?
Yeah, I'd just like to give one shout out to my good buddy Dwayne Kugler. And you talked about that website, and that website is a racing pigeon fancier's dream. In other words, when the birds get sent to us, we put them on the website. And starting in mid-July or so, we try to update it as much as possible when you have, multiple flyers. But it's updated, and he really works hard at it. And like you said, the results are there week after week, and that's another reason why we don't want to change the domain, because people are just used to looking at it now for 20 years. So, but we're proud of the work that Dwayne has done on that, and I know pigeon racers, they just want a little information. They don't need phone calls that, my bird's there and they were there yesterday. They just, are they there? Are they racing? And so we provide that, and we're pretty proud of that. So, but that's it. We hope people come, and there are going to be some people here, of course, and we can't do what we've done in the past, but we're going to do what we can. So it should still be a great weekend.
Well, thank you for your time, Carter. I'll fill in with you later today, but other than that, you have a good night, and thank you for talking with us at PDOC.
Thank you, Tony. We appreciate everything you do for us as well.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And there you go, guys. Mr. Carter Mayotte from Omaha Grainbelt. Thank you for his time and his explanation on how things are going to happen. I understand with COVID, things have changed. The way we work, the way we operate our daily lives, and even the pigeon sport has affected us in all sorts of ways. And trying to get a little bit of joy out of it is what we're seeking. If you guys are in town for the 52nd anniversary Grainbelt Classic, definitely shoot by. I will post a Tillery a little bit about how things are going to flow. Keep in mind that the shipping will occur on Friday, October 9th. The shipping will occur at the Omaha Pigeon Clubhouse from 6 to 8 p.m. on Friday. On Saturday at 9, the birds will be displayed on auction at 8 a.m. at the clubhouse. But at 9 o'clock, what PDOC is going to do is we're going to contact Mark live and try to get a webinar going at the location. Keep in mind, it is all dependent on how the internet service is, and hopefully everything's going to work in our favor. And if it does, then we should be able to broadcast this live as we do a one-on-one session, just a quick session with Mark live there. And then the auction will start at 10. The goal is to get everything wrapped up by 12, and then once that happens, we head out to the lofts, get some birds, and then end the evening with some results, and we will definitely communicate with everybody again about how the results will occur. Please keep in mind that this club is also going to be the Midwest Convention host of next year, so make sure to watch their website, watch their social media, like and subscribe our page, like and subscribe the Omaha Grainbelt page to get the most current, up-to-date news. My name is Tony. I'm signing off with PDOC. Thank you for listening tonight. Thank you for being a support. Looking forward to seeing many more of you, and you will hear a lot more from me. Many more to come with PDOC Films Production. Thank you.